I do have a question about your definition of selfishness.
Yes?
Your version of selfishness.
Yes?
I'm from Japan, and that the culture that I have is conformity is everything. And we are raised to be polite and considerate and put other people's feeling over us all the time.
So much so
Yes.
that we could hardly drag you into this seat. You are lighted up all over the place. You are absolutely the one, but you couldn't let yourself be the one because you're so ready to yield to anyone and everyone.
So I know that you encourage people to be selfish, but I came from the background that the selfish has a strong negative connotation.
Then let's use another word.
Okay.
Let's use the word be aligned. Be aligned and then. The phrase we've used is if you're not selfish enough to tune into source energy, then you don't have anything really to give anyone. If you're not willing to be replenished, then you get depleted. But if the word doesn't work, then use the spirit of the word. So by selfish, we mean willing to tune to self, willing to be my whole self, willing to be my whole aligned, powerful, focused, loving, giving, appreciative, helpful self, not sacrificial self, aligned self, powerful self, whole self. Feel the difference?
Yes. But I am still in the state of that maybe intellectually understand, but sometimes I find myself that still difficult practicing it.
Well, here's the thing. The line is blurry. There isn't anything that Esther likes more than to be of help to someone, to be of value to someone. She likes how it feels so much. So while on the one hand, she is helping someone repair their teeth because they can't do it otherwise, but it feels so good to her to do it. And so who gets to decide? Is that selfishness? Well, it is to Esther because, oh man, did it feel good. And oh, wasn't it wonderful the way the universe lined it up? And wasn't it interesting how it occurred to her? And wasn't it interesting how easily it unfolded? And wasn't it wonderful how it turned out? And so, oh, the self that is Esther really had a good time in that and that and that and that. And she really doesn't like it very much when someone watching from the outside tries to assign a narrative to those kinds of things because they misunderstand every time. You have to establish your relationship with this energy that creates worlds, and you have to flow it in the way that is comfortable to you, and you can't worry about how others see it happen. In the socialization of every society, there is the potential for confusion. Think about the differences in societies. The politeness of your society and really the opposite end of that stick in a lot of societies, and yet there isn't a right or a wrong in it. It's a little bit like, Esther likes sports analogies because she's enjoying sports so much. But she watches her basketball team, and she knows that there are rules that they play by. It's agreements, really. It's not universal force agreements. It's not these things that we're talking about, even the law of attraction agreement. It's that if you step outside that line, that's a penalty. You got to stay on the court. And sometimes the stepping outside is so insignificant that it really shouldn't matter, but it does because the agreement is such. So when you are born into a society, it's sort of like choosing to play in that ball game. You're choosing to have your personal expansion within the confines of the rules of that environment. But you don't have to give up your alignment in order to live that. You can be the way they're asking you to be, while in your own knowing, you know that you are totally pleasing yourself. And if you if you are determined that all of your politeness and helpfulness is coming from you knowing for sure that you're on the upper half of the emotional scale, you won't get crosswise of yourself, and you won't offend any of them either. Almost everyone who finds themselves in a place that isn't working is doing it from the lower half of the scale. They're angry, or they're afraid, or they're guilty, or they're blameful. So there are a lot of people, they're not tuned in, tapped in, turned on. They're not on the upper half of the scale, but they're performing in restriction of politics or societal rules, and they're miserable within them. They're polite, but they're miserable. Well, we think that you can be polite and joyful. And if you don't care about self, you can't be polite and joyful. And we don't think that the rules of your society say, be polite and miserable. We think they say, be polite. We think you still have choice in that. We don't think they're saying, have no regard for self whatsoever. We think they're saying, have regard for all self, which is the way your inner being is. You can't be really tuned into who you really are and not be helpful to everyone you come across. And that's got to be the ultimate human description of unselfishness. Maybe we can define selfishness for you, and you'll hear it because we've just accomplished it here together. The ultimate selfishness is being so aligned with Source, such a total self, that you are including all others in your regard for self. Your selfishness extends to everyone. You're selfish on behalf of all. Let's find a clever way of saying it. Don't repeat this to any of them. They won't understand. But what we're saying to you is the ultimate selfishness is to be completely selfish. Ultimate selfishness is to be completely selfish. But we want to add to it. The ultimate selflessness is to be completely selfish. Because until you're tuned into that, you can't feel that way about the others. Let's call selfishness alignment with love. That's what it is. I care so much to be aligned with love. My care of self is so much about love and appreciation because I want to flow it to all others. We think they would like that if they knew that about you, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Good enough?
Thank you.
Really good. Really good. I'm so selfish that I cannot tell myself from yourself. And what's good for me is good for you, and what's good for you is good for me. I'm so selfish that I seek to be uplifted, because in my upliftment, when I hold you as my object of attention, you are benefited. We could go on.
I would love to selfishly ask for a message of the thing that Source would find would give Source the most appreciation to tell me, the thing that would cause a big party in heaven, in the universe.
Here it is. For a little while, let your awareness of your appreciation be you reveling with non-physical energies rather than wanting to present it to physical humans who aren't ready for it. In other words, take the pleasure from the alignment for a while. Because there's a tendency, it's like you all have had the experience where you've had something wonderful happen, and then you want everybody that you love to come and have the same experience with you, whether they're ready or not. And what we are wanting you to hear, in fact, it's what you said to us. You didn't need to hear it from us. There is so much non-physical that is already up to speed with you and ready to have that fun with you. That's where new insights come. That's where new science comes from. That's where new economy comes from. That's where new inventions come from. There is so much pleasure in the unfolding to be had.
In the spacious space that's yet to be filled with whatever
in this
we create.
boundaryless universe. Yes.
Thank you. I'm very appreciative.
Yeah. Really good. Really good. Yeah. Really good.